All right, we're online. Okay, before we get started, because at the end of the meetings, I feel like it's always chaotic and we all rush out of here. I just want to be sure to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving. Yes, that you have time with friends and family and delicious food and new babies. And yeah, and I am thankful for each of you for your commitment to this community and everything you do on this committee specifically. So thank you to each of you and welcome everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And with that, we will get started with owner comments. Does anyone have anything they want to speak at the beginning? Okay, I do have one letter that Dory Moyer that she asked to be read. It is in regards to the tennis courts. So I gave her heads up her agenda that we are most likely discussing that the next meeting and asked if I could read her letter then because it would be more timely and then we would all remember it. And she was totally good with that. So I wanted to recognize that it has been received and will be read at owner comments in the December meeting. So with that, we'll do the call to order. Looks like we have enough for a quorum. We're official.
Yep.
Okay. We have the agenda in front of us with the discussion items for tonight, future discussion items as well for upcoming meeting topics. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda and or any comments? Second.
I make a motion to
Okay.
accept the agenda.
All right, I'm going to kick it off with Nikki for any, oh,
Sorry.
so Nikki, what comments do you have? And then we'll go from there.
Real quick Parks and Rec updates. So we have Kids Night Out in Tinsels and Teenies next week on December 1st. Kids Night Out, as of right now, we have 24 participants. Registrations close on Wednesday. That event's in the Jones Room from 6 to 9 p.m. And then we have Tinsels and Teenies. We have 35 participants. We have sold out that location, which is at the 690 building. And that is from 6:30 to 9 p.m. So again, Kids Night Out is for kids between 6 to 12 years old. And then it's kind of like a parents' night out per se for Tinsels and Teenies.
That's very fun.
As far as the playground update, they have Vigilant Services that was approved as a project management firm that will be overseeing the project. And a vendor should be chosen at the upcoming board meeting.
Great.
And then as far as pool closures, on November 23rd, Thanksgiving, the pools are only open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then on December 1st, Spring Park Pool will be closing at 3 p.m. Due to the Winter Wonderland VIP event.
Yes.
Yeah. That's everything.
Thank you. I noticed that I already missed action item number 1. So if I can have everybody look at the recreation committee meeting minutes for September, we will vote on accepting those and then October 3rd minutes as well. So if anybody has any questions, I'll give you a couple minutes just to review that real quick. I do want to highlight from the October 3rd meeting minutes, Brent Gibbs was the one who expressed the concerns about the tennis courts, and he knows we're discussing that in December as well. We reached out to him, and he was actually pleased for discussing it. So, but we wanted to let him know we didn't just ignore it. Do I have a motion to accept the September 19th meeting minutes?
Yeah.
Right, and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And October 3rd.
Motion.
Thanks, John.
Second.
Thanks, Rob. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. On to the celebration glow run. Do you have a paper for that? Yep, you have a paper for the glow run? Yeah, here it is. Okay, the first one. The one written in here, that's the celebration athletics. Would you like to come up and speak on
Yeah.
that?
Sure can. My name is Paul Pedraza. I live at 833 Lake Evelyn and run a nonprofit. It's called Community Athletics. And part of that, we run Celebration Community Athletics. So we've operated in town as part of Celebration Community Church and Upward Sports since 2010. We changed our name to Celebration Community Athletics a week before COVID, and then everything shut down, and then we kind of grew from there. So last year we reached 750 kids through our basketball, flag football, cheerleading, club volleyball, and camps program. And so we're continuing to reach out to our community with great events. We did a mother-son dance last year. So the father-daughter dance has been going for years, and I've heard little, thing in my ear about mothers wanting to go out with their sons. So we did that as well. So we're seeking to do a 5K in town that is a glow run. And so this would happen in March of 23. And we plotted out a course that uses sidewalks and would have security guards and off-duty police officers being able to close off certain streets for a short period of time as the race goes across and through Celebration, culminating at Lakeside Park with bounce houses. Actually, I don't know, bounce houses, food trucks, DJ, and so forth. And so our hope is just to pull people together in town to have a night that Celebration shines, and for us to show the light of who Jesus is through that. Thank you.
Last question?
Yes.
So you said you do it for kids. Would it be kids only or would it be?
No, this is for the community. The primary objective of what we do is we reach kids, but we seek to reach everybody.
So one of the questions that I have, and Nikki, this might be for you. With it being dark at that time and being glow, and I know what our sidewalks are like, I just have concern about safety. And if something happens, liability from whether is that a CROA responsibility or a CCDD responsibility or.
So if we approve it, it would be a split of the
Okay.
responsibility.
Okay. And have we walked the sidewalks on this knowing,
Yeah.
I just know what the routes, I know it's like by my house, that's. I'll say
Well,
that.
and what it is around Lake Evelyn right now, they're
Right.
turning up the sidewalks because
Yeah.
of the routes.
So
But
I
yes,
just
we
have
are,
nerves.
we're seeking to, the most lighted path possible,
Okay,
but also to add some lighting where needed. So whether that's part of, having people with their houses put out their own Christmas lights for the night or something like that
Yeah.
to make it shine. The runners would also have glow stuff on them as well.
Is that something that could be included in a waiver beforehand?
yeah, I
was just gonna
say, a waiver.
I don't know. I don't know how much a waiver can work, but if you make that like a specific bullet item, do you have any idea?
Release them both from liability.
Well, I was gonna also say, as CROA for our partner programs or recreational activities, we require everyone to sign a waiver.
Yeah.
Because I would assume that you all are doing
Correct.
waivers as well.
So I would maybe see if you can make that a specific bullet point for this event. Might help.
Yeah, that they waive, liability to CROA. We can speak for them because we fall under them, and I assume CCDD would want to fall under that, but I can't speak to that.
And you all talked to Greg.
Yes,
Okay, and what did he think of this?
he's for it.
He's on board.
And then what does this do, Nikki, from a staffing point of view?
So as far as staffing, if you need like any tables and chairs, that would be like the only requirement from our end.
Which they do have that on
Here,
here.
I've got that checked.
Okay. So it's only equipment, no staffing from the town.
So as far as equipment, like anytime we have to deliver or set up, there's a staff time fee.
But you're not staffing the event.
We would not be staffing.
Okay. Okay.
And then Paul, were you all looking for like a fee waiver as well?
Yeah, so as a nonprofit,
Yeah.
we would ask for that, but whatever it is that we need to do to support the town, we're willing to do it.
And do you have like sponsorship opportunities, like different levels that
Yes.
we can review?
Yeah.
Okay,
We can send those to you.
perfect.
So we're looking at 500. Comments on fee waiver?
I know Paul for a long time. And his programs and the kids, the way that he does, I'm his fan. So thank you for being here. Paul. It was surprising to see you here. I'm very happy to see you here asking that. So thank you. He's amazing.
I think it sounds like a wonderful event. I think we should waive it.
I think my comment is it falls in line with like the Embry concert that we waived as well. So that bar's already been set.
And then if you approve this event, Once the event ends, we would have a post meeting just to go over pros and cons moving forward with every event, and we'll share it with the committee before
I
we're
love that
allowed to
idea.
approve moving
Yeah,
forward.
so I just think it makes us all better. I mean,
Correct, yeah.
I do that after everything I do in my personal business, so I think that's great. Okay. Well, then I am going to make a motion to approve this event with the outdoor facility fees waived. However, the equipment cost will stand.
Great.
And the staffing, if there's any staffing costs that go with that delivery equipment, that will go as well. And then also with that, we will request that in whatever waiver assigned, it will absolve CROA of any liability, and we will ask CCDD if they would like to be a part of that part as well. Because we don't decide for them. Okay. So that's a mouthful. Okay, motion.
Second.
Good. Okay, all those in favor? It's gonna be awesome.
Great, thank you so much.
All right. Moving on, we have the celebration marathon. We're a very active community,
Very healthy too.
right? Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Ken Zambito, 1322 Celebration Avenue. This will be the 11th year. of The County Celebration Marathon, Half Marathon. Typically, we're getting between 2,000 and 2,500 entries for the race, and usually have about a 10% attrition, people not showing up for that. So generally, you're looking at a couple thousand people with approximately 400 to 500 volunteers. And we have our packet pickup and all of that at Lakeside Park. We used to do it here. When COVID hit, we moved outdoors, and that's kind of what we're sticking with. So Lakeside Park, Jones Room has requested use of that. And answer any questions. I can, the liability question, we received our permit from the county. We received our permit from the CCDD. I was supposed to meet with Mike this morning. He canceled on me, so we're going to reschedule on that. We should be good with Lexon. We do have, historically, we have $1 million liability policy that we name CROA, CDD, everybody and their mother
Yeah.
as additional insured, and we provide additional uninsured certificates
Thank
for
you.
that. So
Thank you.
we do that. Additionally, the waiver that the runners sign, same thing, indemnifying everybody, because we go on Advent Health property, we go on Osceola County School Board property, we got a lot of places. So
Okay.
in addition to CCDD, Lexington, and Crow property.
Awesome. Nikki, on this, it says additional hour, staff time hours is TBD. What has been our past precedents that we've done?
So we actually bill usually the events once it's over. So
Okay.
we'll meet with the team and see how many hours. So we'll provide that to Ken and his team.
And that's comfy for you guys
Yeah.
again.
Absolutely. That's, yep.
And the same, I assume, goes with the equipment.
So we actually waive the equipment
Okay.
as well as the facility fees.
Okay.
previously.
And part of that, we do have a sponsorship where we put the town logo
Yeah.
on the banners, we put it on the back of the
We would
shirt.
be the gold sponsor.
Okay. So on this, the gold sponsors, the logo on the t-shirt, DJ announcements, a water stop, table at packet pickup, start and finish line banner, website placement, website link, race entries, and race packet. So. that's pretty good.
Those are all
packet.
available. In the past, I mean, we haven't had a table or anything at packet pickup, but
Yeah.
that's available. I'm not sure why you'd want that, but certainly available too.
Waiving the fees, I assume you guys are nonprofit?
We're a nonprofit. They make donations to scholarships. So we do scholarships for every high school in Osceola County gets at least one scholarship. And we give that money to the Osceola Education Foundation for distribution. We also give the Boys and Girls Club of Osceola County Driving in Place for the Celebration Foundation. And then all of our community groups, high school teams, churches, anybody who works a water stop gets a donation as well. Typically $1,000 is what we've been able to give to each of those groups. So we standardly giving away about $90,000 each year. We're getting close to $1 million having historically. I think we're at 820 or 830 over the.
I know it also provides a great opportunity for high school students, for their bright
Get the
future
volunteer
volunteer
hours.
hours.
So,
So I think, thank you for that as well. Any comments, questions, concerns? All right, then I would like to make a motion to approve the 11th annual Celebration Marathon and Half Marathon with waiving the fees for the space and the equipment. And then they will look at staffing afterwards and following past precedents on how they've done the liability on that piece of it.
Second.
Sean, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. The deal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. We are going to dig into the celebration facility rental application, rates, definitions, all the above that we've honestly been talking about since August. So here's the deal, or June.
Yeah,
Um,
also do those designations for the church.
Yes, we're gonna go through all those as well. That'll be part of that designation definition. We gave Croa, thank you so much for attending.
Thank you. Love to stay, but.
Yeah.
Are you- Okay.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Thank you.
We gave Croa our goal that we would present this by the end of November. So my personal goal is I want to wrap this up tonight so that we honor that for two reasons. One, to honor the goal. Two, you guys joined this committee with things that you wanted to see change and make a difference and add some of those. And we can't get to those things till we knock this one out. And so then we will have honored our commitment and we can go to do other things that we think will bring additional value to the community. So I am going to start with the number 5 on the discussion items, which is the celebration facility rental application and rates. So this is just the normal application and rate depending on who wants to rent. This would not be a partner program, a club, a charity, a civic group, a alphabet soup group, any of that. This is a resident or non-resident at this point for the rates. So
Just looking at the rates or just the definitions too?
at this point, let's see, for number 5, we're looking at the application and the rates only for residential, non-residential. So it is this packet. And that's not any definitions or any designations or rates for them.
And this is pretty much what we did with the finance committee. So it
Yes.
Should be double for non-resident.
I'm gonna open it up for any questions, comments, or concerns.
I think when we were discussing it this summer, there was stipulation that no religious ceremonies. But then someone did bring up that often a wedding can be considered a religious ceremony. I don't remember exactly where that was,
Yeah, we did bring it up because I made that point. Wedding is not necessarily a religious.
but it could be. So
Could be, obviously.
maybe we should, I'm saying maybe we should say, no religious ceremony besides a wedding, besides a wedding. Like make that exception.
Is that in here in the application?
I thought it was, I'm just trying to find it where. Can you just control that?
I think I
You
got
have
two
that
sets.
PDF on your computer, Vicky?
I'm sorry?
You have a PDF on your computer for this?
I do.
Can you just control that?
I think you got it twice.
Yeah.
Number 5 on I. So page 3.
Okay.
Number 5, this is pro facilities may not be used for religious services. However, we do allow the Community Presbyterian Church to utilize the Great Lawn for their Easter sunrise service. So maybe same without prior approval.
Okay.
Then that would cover it for Easter and we have more churches coming into our community. I think that when a lot of this was written, it was just Comprise. And so now we have multiple other. So I think in order to keep it, and we're going to dig into that, 'cause that's on our definitions. to keep it fair across the board, let's say on a case by case basis.
Tell you about the committee or something.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point.
yeah. Because a lot of it too is the different religions have different traditions in the ceremony accordingly. So. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Thank you, John, for that. All right, then based on that, I am going to ask for a motion for the celebration facility equipment rental application with rates to be approved as it is for resident, non-resident. And we will get into community designation usage rates. This vote does not cover them at this time.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Catherine. All those in favor? Okay. All right, moving on. These are our designations and definitions. The committee was presented from Nikki on Friday. A little asking for clarification in regards to embrace, thriving in place, lifelong.
I don't think it was embrace. I think it was lifelong thrive.
Driving in lifelong.
Okay, okay. So, because they both fall under the foundation and then Compres as well to the previous point of them being a religious group. I'm going to give my personal comments and then I'm going to open up the floor. I would like to keep it simple, to put thriving in place and lifelong in the same designation as Celebration Foundation, because they do fall under that. And I couldn't come up a reason why to separate it because they have the same roots, so to say. So why would we separate that? As for the Community Presbyterian, I think personally I have a hard time singling them out again because we have multiple other churches in our town now. I think it was different at the time when this was built. So for a religious organization, kind of like what we just did, I would love to do it on a case by case basis. Tell us what you're doing, tell us how it benefits the community, tell us what your needs are, whether, because if I'm one of the churches, why does Compres get the lawn for Easter service? We want the lawn for Easter service. Maybe there's different times. And I do think that with my focus on being consistency, we're not being consistent on that. So again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there for that type of thing. But that's what I was thinking for both of those. As far as the hours and the amount of free time that lifelong and thriving in place would get, I think we'll discuss that in the next section of this. But this is just discussing purely designation because those are the only ones that are not designated at this time.
Correct.
Okay.
Sure.
Sounds fair.
The
Yeah.
one problem with foundation is our definition of civic and service groups, which we say they let's see, without monetary compensation.
Okay. Who else is in this group? Is there anyone in this group
By
that,
civic and service.
yeah,
It's just the embrace of celebration as well as.
embrace also have salary as well as foundation?
The Knights of Columbus don't, I don't know if the Rotary Club's on
Columbus
here.
For bingo.
I am an inactive member of Columbus, but my understanding there was no, at least in the local chapter, was no compensation.
Well, didn't we discuss too, that the 501(c) and there's the 4 in there too, one and have compensation and the other charities. don't have
Yeah, under
compensation.
the requirement, that's for your 501(c)(3). So for instance, we would look at it, not that Little League is a service group, I'm just going to use that as an example. Alec, who's the president of Celebration Little League, he does not get any compensation, kind of like the Knights of Columbus. However, in, I can't believe I just forgot the name of the town. I said it for so many times. Little League HQ they do pay everybody there and there is monetary, but we just call it Little League. So I think foundation may fall under that as well. So we have to decide how we want to do those things. Thriving in Place and Lifelong doesn't have any compensation for that type. But foundation does have a director who has a salary.
Well, maybe if we added in C4.
Yeah.
That would cover everything.
That covers it. It's a 501c3 under requirements. If you go 3 boxes down under number 3, financial good standing 501c3 or 501c4 is the recommendation.
Like, as John said, where would Rotary Club fall? Because they're not a 501c.
Are they under club?
No, I don't see the number.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think they're on a different list.
So this list is like the active clubs. So they would just have to submit an application and we would review it at an upcoming review.
Because currently Rotary is not meeting with it in.
Correct, they're not meeting for
Okay.
property or anything.
Well, they meet at Artisan, but they just give it to us. It's.
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't fall under this bucket.
And why is one yellow? It's the same, these two boxes say the
Oh,
same thing.
That was just for something for you to look at. So
Okay.
I had a question on the side is, do we want to have separate club rates? Because I was mentioning like subcategories of recreational club, so that'd be like ballroom dance. Social club could be like the garden club or celebrators. And then the support clubs would be our like AA, Overeaten, Anonymous, so.
All right, we'll
You
get
want to
into
do
that part in a
subcategories?
minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Feedback regarding adding 501c4 under requirement for civic and service groups.
So what? The C4,
It's still a charitable organization, but they can have some paid employees.
one thing that I like about the combined federal campaign is they actually provide a specific percentage of the funds that is raised versus the funds that are actually given to the social charitable organization. I'm just wondering if there's a maximum that has to be done for 501c4.
That I couldn't tell you.
And so what's in question is that this civic or service group does pay a salary. Is that what's making us uncomfortable moving forward?
Well, it's the definition says, well, the one thing, if we're gonna have Celebration Foundation in here, which I'm possibly okay with, we would need to change the definition part of it. And then obviously we would need to change the requirements too, as you said.
Is there any other comments regarding keeping in or taking out without monetary compensation?
Here's the definition between the two, if you'd like to say.
All right, let me read this. As per the Internal Revenue Code, 501c3 is a nonprofit organization for religious, charitable, scientific, and educational purposes. Donations to 501c3 are tax deductible, whereas on the other hand, 501c4 is a social welfare group and donations to 501c4 are not tax deductible. Nikki, do you know his foundation? 3 or 4?
Believe it.
I believe there's
Most
3
of them
too,
are 3.
because I think it is taxed.
Never heard of before.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
That's
is
the
the last
one.
meeting, yeah.
I think actually Croa were 501c4.
Yeah, somebody had
That
said,
would
oh,
make
yeah.
sense.
Because the reason I was saying that is I think when we're doing sponsorships, if
Yeah.
people did in-kind sponsorships, you wouldn't get like the tax deductible.
So I guess what's the hang up? That's what I'm unclear on.
So for the concern I have at least is what's the pass-through percentage? if they're bringing in 100,000, how much is actually going to what they're supposed to be raising money for, so to speak.
Isn't that a government issue?
Well,
I mean,
we are government technically in this town.
Well, just as an example, what is the one for the or the veterans? There's a charitable organization that supposedly helps veterans. It's Wounded Warriors. The percentage of their donations is unfortunately much lower than other organizations, but they're still a C3. So
I think what we're coming back to is we can't define what makes a C3. That's a true government thing, not a community recreation committee thing. And if 501c3 is good enough for the government, we're saying it's good enough for the town recreation.
We can't
committee. Is
say
that what you're
you
going-
don't give enough.
Additional comments?
I don't know, because you can make more than 250,000 as a officer of a 501(c)(3). And is that
But are we really dealing with anyone that big that we
No,
need to?
not
focus
even
on
close.
this?
No,
who knows?
and it's
I
the
do,
government.
we're
if that
not.
makes
I
sense.
don't think
We're not.
I mean, we're dealing with community organizations here. I don't think we're dealing with, large corporation.
Well, it's not necessarily a large corporation. I mean, individual hospitals can make like large amounts too. But
If the government designates them as a C3, who are we to say you can't be a C3 by our definition?
what's the pass rate? Is it okay if we inquire about the pass through rate?
No, we gotta get this done tonight. I mean, we're there now.
Can we set a threshold for the pass through rate?
No, because we'll have to vote on that. But my thing is, to your point, if the threshold's good enough for the government,
Good enough for
you're
us.
asking for additional work to be done on that part of it. And I'm not comfortable going through someone's salary or anything like that. And to Rob's point, I don't think we have any fish big enough that truly affects whether that makes or breaks the definitions that would make for a successful community.
Well, there are checks and balances with future committees in place. If a situation like that comes up, it can always be revisited, just like we're revisiting it now.
Yeah.
Right. Well, maybe if we say 25%, or 75% is the pass through rate, means 75% goes to charity. And then
I don't think we have the capacity to monitor that. And if we add that in here,
Sorry to put in, can we just add, like, we can review their annual 990 statements?
Yeah, I mean, really could just be like the church. I mean, it's case by case basis. We could just review it.
yeah,
So every year you can put that at the very end to see, like.
Do we have any doubts about
That's
anything?
perfect, because we're doing that for all the partner
We're already
programs
doing it for
anyway.
number two,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, do we have
At least
any
that
doubts?
covers
Check
something.
it.
okay.
We're just not getting that 20%, but we can at least do check-ins.
So if I understand correctly, under requirements, we are still looking to add 501c4. And then we are
I
looking,
don't think we need
I
to
don't
do
think
that.
that-
before.
Okay.
After we get
No,
that.
I just, as I
It's-
look
No, I
at the
think-
definition,
yeah.
Is Little League a 501c4?
C3.
most charities are.
Okay, so we're looking to not add 501c4.
Right.
And then instead we'll be adding,
Option to review.
The 990 upon the clock.
do they have 990?
They would, that's the document, Mike Jackson was talking about.
Okay, I just didn't know if the non-for-profit would.
I think that's the,
If he told us two different ones.
there's
where they
one
have
for
some-
for-profit and there's one for nonprofit. Each has their own, but it shows, you still get the information you need.
Their annual financial.
Yeah, I think
the
990 would be
appropriate
sufficient.
Financial document.
All right, so I'm going to ask for a motion that we are keeping the definitions as listed on this page. Has a yellow highlighted box on it, just to confirm, with adding under to the side there, annual financial statements on a case-by-case basis as if requested by the committee.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Thank you.
I second.
Second, Marco, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay. We are moving on to number 7 regarding revised community designation usage rates. So This is where that yellow box comes
Okay,
in.
that's
Yeah, right?
right. Yeah. that's
Okay.
what I was asking.
Keep me honest. Okay. The yellow box, what is in question here right now is when we redesignated, we grew the club basis. We are now at 18 clubs. Based on what we originally proposed, that would be 2 free hours a month per club, meaning 36 hours a month that we're giving a room free, whatever that ends up being. Then based from that, you add on there all the celebration, government and community association meetings. You add on partner programs. If any educational group needs anything, and then with the goal of having something for residents to be able to enjoy as well. So there was talk of, it's making a hit to certain groups by only going 2 hours free compared to what they've had in the past. But we're also starting to feel it tighten. And then we also need to realize that it won't end at 18 groups. There will be other clubs that will want to join, no matter which designation they fall into, they would still be a club. So they would automatically get 2 free. So there was talk about leaving it as is, that you get your 2 hours free and then you get, a partner program, I think we said gets 20% off. If we want to extend that 20% off to clubs as well. But there will be some disgruntled clubs.
Pushback?
Yeah, because it is different than what they've been getting. My understanding, for instance, is AA. How many hours a week do they get right now?
It's roughly between 4 to 6 hours
A week.
a week.
So we're cutting them from 20 hours, 20 to 24 hours to 2
For the whole month.
for the month. So it's a major
Yeah.
change for them in what we're proposing here. However, 24 free hours a month,
A lot of hours.
that's a lot of hours. That's a lot of missed revenue. That's a lot of time taken away from residents on what they could rent or not rent. And that's just one example.
If I can make a suggestion.
Yeah.
If no one's planning to use the time anyway, we make it like a month-to-month basis if there's free time. Because I mean, AA does provide it helps people recover. My dad had alcohol issues growing up, so if it's available, no one's using it.
Yeah, I agree. AA is kind of in a different category.
Okay. So then we kind of want to go through these clubs and see who else is in a different category. I agree, which is why I brought up that one specifically. I also want to ask you, because you are the keeper of the space, so to say, on who goes and what. So at what point does he make the call that, sorry, resident, you can't have this because we told AA they could, or versus AA, I can't guarantee you have it yet because we need to let a resident have.
I will say I had 3 different parents who attend my dance studio who told me they were very upset because they were trying to rent space in North Village and they were not able to because it was set aside for AA. I asked
Where
them-
do they meet?
So they used to meet at the North Village meeting room, but
Where
it
is
was
that?
a safety.
Yeah, where-
It's like in the actual pool deck, the right-hand side, there's restrooms, right to the left where that AED box, there's a door. It's now a storage unit because there was only one way in. And folks were actually getting stuck in the door because the door would like warp. So it's now a storage room. So they have been relocated to the complex meeting room.
And where's that?
Soccer fields.
Where's the?
Right behind the dog park.
Oh, that complex.
Yeah.
Complex there. Any idea how many people are in AA?
I'm not familiar with, hey, Jason.
About 10, sometimes it varies on who shows, not everybody, there's not many members that live in Celebration that attend. And they are welcome to rent the space once they go through their 2 times.
So it's not necessarily Celebration residents.
Oh, no,
That's-
That
It's
changes.
a
Yeah,
mixture,
that changes
it's a
over time.
mixture, yes. Like
I
we
thought it
were,
was
we were
just-
told by one of the groups when we were meeting with them, let me double check, because I have to check with Disney's, like with the tourists, because a lot of tourists come into town to utilize
Then use the AA.
services, yeah.
Just for the record, it's not just that group that I'm getting calls and saying, hey, I want this space. It's not just them. It's just any other programs. Because everyone feels that, I'm paying for this, I should be able to use it
Yeah.
whenever I like.
Right.
And it should not be going to partner program. So it's not just AA that I've been getting that calls, but it's a lot of programs.
And maybe at night, I assume?
Right, yeah, it's roughly 7 to 9.
Yeah, very easy. They're so, there's okay. I'm there every time they are there, so it's a good group. They
Yeah.
go, stay in the meeting. James was there monitoring as well. Very nice people, polite, easy
Right.
to handle.
So, but also that's why I was looking at doing 3 different categories, like a recreational.
It has to be, we have to find a way to make. it
Unless we
Yeah.
keep it simple across the board, but I know with the requirements, we're looking at doing like a resident versus non-resident roster, but I feel like that's kind of uncomfortable to ask a support group. Can I get your name to see the number of residents versus non-residents? But we do need to, because there's at times more non-residents over residents utilizing those spaces.
Well, and again, we are a homeowners association. We are not a church. We are not I have mixed feelings on this and I can argue both sides. So I don't have a great solution, but I do feel like there are multiple sides that need to be argued here and we need to talk through some things.
Considering the primarily pleasant weather in Florida, is there any way they can use an outdoor
That's
space?
what I was gonna suggest, yeah.
So we,
I mean, except for the dead of winter when it might be 50.
right, so we did offer the North Village Pavilion before we were trying to find an indoor space, but it's like a privacy concern.
Right.
So that's the reason why they want to be indoors.
I just think, again, following the consistency, once we say, oh, you're needed, that you're important, however you're gonna end
Everybody's
up saying it. Then you're gonna have the next group go, you don't think I'm important? You don't think I have value?
So I know we don't really have anything to do with the schools in town, right? That's Osceola County. Can't we like get in
Well,
touch and
it's-
suggest us using this classroom there?
I would say that could. Yeah, if they're using, if.
Right,
they-
but can't we
3
suggest to
hours
them
plus,
to
can
get
we
in touch?
suggest They
Yeah.
try to see what other resources,
Right.
maybe they can also get 2 free hours from one
And
church,
tell them
2
the
to
issue,
3 hours
tell
from
them the issue
another
that people are
church.
complaining that you're using the space. I mean, I would think the schools would be, open. I mean, I have no idea, but
I would think too, that if we went this route with the 2 hours, we would, or the next committee will be able to determine a higher usage by residents. Like we see many more rentals coming in, much more revenue according that comes with it. And then you could pass a red face test if we did something that benefits the community. On both ways. We're giving you some free time, we're giving more access to the residents, that it would be a win-win. I think the problem is right now, more than 36 hours just for one club that's being used versus we're saying 36 hours for all clubs.
what is the demand for the room they use in the complex? What's the demand for that room? Is it
It's-
high
it's-
demand?
It's very rare. We mostly just have recreational programs as like an alternative location. But it's never rented for like residents per se.
This is the complex space.
Correct, yeah.
So doesn't that change a little if they just
Well, then
focus
you
on
come
that?
back to why is it different for them versus others?
Because the
Just-
club
just-
could say, I'll meet at the
Yeah.
complex.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think AA is a little different.
Very
So-
important.
We've got recovery and celebration AA, Overeaters Anonymous, 12 Steps to Recovery, and what is Relic again?
Retired educator with television.
Okay, so we got 4 support groups. Is that right? Or is there more?
That's accurate.
So if we do 2 hours a week,
John, can I stop you? Say that again. Those 4, please.
they're actually at the end of this second page.
Right under.
Right above.
Got it. Thank you.
Really?
Thank you.
Apologies. So what if we did 2 a week for free? Up from 2 a month, just for the support groups?
And where do these other clubs meet?
So Celebration AA and Recovery, they both meet at the complex. So that takes up a total of 4 days. Overeaters utilizes the Jones Room once a week for 2 hours. And 12 Step Recovery is the only one that utilizes the North Village Pavilion once a week. I believe it's for an hour.
So with the other 3, could they be fit into that complex?
That's an idea.
I was gonna say, can that be the
Could they-
designated
Yeah,
space?
could that be the support group room?
Because then we could say we're not taking away from residents or other.
You said 12 Steps to Recovery, that's outdoor, outdoor?
That was at the
Correct.
pavilion.
Yeah, that's the only one that was okay with meeting outdoors. Yes.
I would think it would almost be a benefit to move them to the complex, because I know that's requested.
So the only problem that we would run into
Yeah.
is when this building shuts down,
Yeah,
if, when, that would be an alternative space
for
out.
partner programs.
Correct, yeah.
I might be a great grandfather when this building shuts down, so.
There you go.
Well, I do think that goes back to designation, so they fall in the lower in the priority. So when this building is shut down and other
They would
groups
just
need to
need
be
to look for
moved,
space.
they get bumped.
They could be moved to civic and civic groups.
They would still be below partner programs.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that wouldn't help them.
I
as
still
far as
think
that
the
goes.
school's gotta be an option. I don't see why schools are always open.
There might be a liability somewhere in there.
Yeah, they probably don't want Narcotics Anonymous at the school or AA.
And the church?
The library.
I mean,
The
it's
church
really,
seems like a vibe.
how much is the town responsible for? Maybe we are. So it could go either way.
The library does have meeting rooms,
Again, that's an Osceola County thing, though, right?
but it's right here in Celebration
Right.
too.
You just gotta approach
Well-
them and
Library.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm
that's the
saying,
thing,
library.
that's the thing too, we don't know how many are resident based.
It's close.
But a lot of them are probably Osceola based.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that
that's
might
what
be
we
a
need.
better resource.
That sounds like a very.
I mean, is it on us to find out or do we tell the AA?
No.
people?
No,
No, it's
I
not.
think that's to go there.
It's on us to provide an option.
Why don't we throw it out there and then that we're having issues, you have to start exploring some other options.
Library closes at 9 every week, every day except Friday, so they do have, besides the weekend. So they do have
Evening hours.
evening hours.
yeah.
And it's a relatively small group.
So then I'm gonna open this up real quick. Is there any concern with sticking with the 2 hours a month? We could say 3. I mean, that 2 is not in blood.
Right.
With a much lower number, so I'm gonna start there, a much lower number for these clubs that are free per month. Does anyone have any? This just doesn't set well with me.
I'm okay with these 4 getting an hour a week.
We're just looking at as clubs right now. So I
As a
guess one
whole.
of the questions is, do we really want to separate them?
Or do we give all clubs 3?
Because then we have to redo all these definitions. we
Yeah,
just
and
voted
I
on.
think it needs to be consistent.
We just voted that it's club. So what is a club is a club unless we're gonna redo these definitions tonight.
To support club.
I could see
Just one
civic
more.
civic group as an actual, these ones are civic and civic groups.
Well, what if we up it to 3 hours for everybody? That's still significantly less than if we take the other hours, like what would we be looking at math wise?
18 groups times 3 hours, you're looking at 54 hours a month.
So we were looking at 36, but that wasn't counting the additional 24. I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna have to be consistent.
I agree, but if the complex room is available to a certain support.
Well, is that the type of thing where it can be in kind of like we've done for others in a case by case situation? Maybe you can come in for approval for additional hours that aren't.
Yeah.
30 days in advance, we would be able to tell you whether you've got it or not.
Right,
So-
that's it. If someone wants to rent it, then you tell them, sorry, you have to find an alternative then even.
Danny, if we said 30 days in advance, it's not open to other people, we would be able to commit accordingly.
I don't see why not.
That doesn't make your
Right.
job.
No, I mean,
Because we
saying
do
no,
require a 2-week notice to do reservations, so probably 2 weeks instead, you know what I mean?
Okay.
We would have to notify them within 2 weeks of the space.
But I think 2 weeks for a free space is quite appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, so let them have it if it's available, but if someone has the right to reserve it.
For the recovery groups, though, if we're just talking about clubs in general, so maybe that's not reasonable, but
I just think at some point they're able to go out and explore other options.
I
So
think we
this
should,
is what we're willing to commit to right now, based on the space that we're available.
but
And even though this isn't part of the equation, this will be part, this building
It
will
will
be
be.
part of
right,
the equation.
I think we have to let them aware, right? They have to
Yeah,
throw-
so we're planning for the future.
well, I mean,
And then make the suggestion that perhaps you can reach out to other facilities. i.e. the library.
Library, school, whatever.
So let's say this building's built. Would we redo the definitions then or the
It'll
time?
be a whole new committee then.
Yeah. But they might,
And we could.
that's the thing, everything we decide now, it was all decided before.
We could, make one amount of time for until the building's available and then one amount of time for after.
Only because I don't know, are there any community service buildings, community center buildings in this area that just say AA could also utilize? I know back in
I'm
New
aware.
York, we had a rec center
Right.
that they
Yeah.
all met in.
Welcome to the biggest discussion in.
Oh, no.
In the last hour.
Believe me, I agree. But is there one, like ours was run by the county?
Yeah,
Is there a county?
not,
Community
not anywhere.
center.
I don't, in Osceola?
Lexington probably has space too.
Well, they got the movie theater, it's just not,
They got the 690 building.
what's the 690 building?
That's where the Celebration Foundation is right now. They're renting the bottom floor. Right
By the
behind
post office.
You're right, they probably have space.
At night they do.
I mean, 10 people, you don't need a whole big room.
All right, so let's start with this. We're looking at keeping a low amount of hours for now, with the caveat that 2 weeks in advance, if it has not been reserved, they could ask for it, and
Additional.
Danny would be able to say yay or nay accordingly to what his calendar shows per room. With that, 2 hours, bump it up to 3.
3 hours.
Is this just
I
for
think so.
support? Are we
This is
still
for
doing
all
that?
clubs. This
For
is for all
everyone. Okay,
clubs.
the problem now you're gonna run into is you have Celeballers as a club, beach tennis, Mahjong, like there's some people who get payments. Like we moved, didn't we move ballroom
And
dance?
Zumba.
So now you're saying that these people who are getting money are gonna start using our facilities for free. Yeah.
Okay, good point.
But with the new rental rates, if they're paying for 2 times a month, that's essentially more than what we're bringing in now.
Yeah.
Really, the number wasn't a big number anyway, right?
Right, but it's also ballroom dance, for example. She's a non-resident. She doesn't live here, so you're okay with her coming on property
Well, that,
to utilize the
that
facility.
voids
No,
the requirements for being a club anyways.
right? Though you have to.
So I
there
think
was
she would-
70%.
Yeah,
residential.
she would then have to, I'm saying she, just,
Oh, it is a
Ballroom.
female.
yeah, ballroom would then need to decide if they're gonna pay the minimum that we set for a partner program. To
They're not a
continue.
You know
partner
what, they're
program, they're a
actually-
club.
Yeah, but I'm
Actually,
saying if she
they
doesn't meet the
are-
requirements, because she's not a resident.
Where
not
does it say
resident
that she has
sponsor.
to be a resident for to be a coach?
Be a coach.
Are the club's resident sponsored? Is that what it is?
I think it was a 70% participation, right? I don't know.
It doesn't say anything there in the requirements here, at least.
No, I thought when we discussed this, like Little Tunes, didn't we say they were a club? Like, I thought we said Little
Yes, because
Tunes.
they didn't meet
ballroom
the-
dance.
Threshold, we don't have any numbers on them.
They're listed as partner programs right now.
Yeah, because anybody coming in would essentially start as a club, wouldn't they?
Then the application I gave you is incorrect, because it shows Little Tunes as a partner program, ballroom dance as a partner program, but they were clubs, because Zumba was also a club that we discussed.
Okay, let's go through this.
Well,
one by
Zumba shows
one.
here as partner.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through this real quick one by one to make sure we're on the same page.
Actually, I think I have.
We have lifelong that we're keeping as a civic and service group. The same for Thriving in Place, civic and civic group. Ladies Open Play Tennis is a club, men's tennis club, Mahjong club, table tennis club, community chorus club, X Factor dance and gymnastics partner program. Little Tunes, we're saying this one should be a club and not a partner program. That
They
way
had to reach a.
2,500
Yeah, 2,500.
that they actually,
they called the club due to revenue generated.
Yep.
Irish dance, they called the club due to revenue
Yeah,
generated.
Yeah, they were partner.
Partner program. Ballroom dance falls to club due to revenue generated.
It was a club.
Okay,
Zumba was a club.
and
And
the fitness,
Have to go back and grab some paperwork.
Family fitness, we had it as two, as a
So.
partner program. I have the list here from last.
Awesome, thank you. This list has Little Tunes as a partner program.
That is correct.
And this list does have Ballroom Dance as a partner program. What we have, what he has here matches what's on here.
Really?
Zumba, a partner program. Family Fitness, partner program. Aqua Yoga, partner program. Cyclones
Was
program.
this, when was
Yoga
this meeting?
program.
Was this before we did the workshop
That's
with the
September.
finance?
The,
I'm
the
wondering
reason
if
why
it
I
was-
could have sworn we switched them because they didn't meet that.
They didn't meet,
threshold.
but the threshold was decided when we met with finance, not when we met on our own. So I'm wondering if this was the meeting that predated.
I
that
think it may have been
threshold.
September.
Yeah, because we had the
Definitely.
two, we had the us, and then we also had the one that was with finance. Because I feel like that changed things.
Yeah, I think I may have, I'm not on the right list. Sorry,
No, because that was why we went. So that's good.
apologies.
You're good. Yeah,
Oh,
you
thank
brought
you.
more than I did. Thank you.
So we're changing the designation.
Oh, here we are. Here's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the numbers, so that's why we decided to do.
Okay, so, sorry, the October noon didn't have ladies or men's tennis in it. So that's why it's different. It's keeping Zumba still as a part, oh, I see the numbers next to it. So X Factor would be a partner program. Little Tunes would not be. Irish Dance would be. Ballroom Dance would not be. They're at 2,000 and ours was 2,500. Celebration Zumba would not be a partner program. Family Fitness would not be a partner program. Aqua Yoga would not be a partner program. Cyclones would not be a partner program. Yoga would not be a partner program. Little Fins would not be a partner program. Advantage Tennis would. Celebration Dog Training would not be a partner program. Farmers Market would. Continuing down the list, partner program for Soccer Club would. Little League would. Oh, I'm sorry, Little League doesn't have any. They would be a club. So they don't have the revenue. Same for Celebration Flag Football would be a club.
So we actually, so I pulled up my paper, Victoria. Um, Mine's a little bit different from what you're
Okay.
reading off. So what I have is, ballroom dance and Zumba were clubs.
What about Little Tunes?
Little Tunes was a partner program.
So I do remember Victoria said because they didn't have numbers yet, she wanted to come with People's Club. That's what she said last time.
Because Little
Yeah,
Tunes
they-
was new.
Yeah,
They
they don't
haven't
have any
started.
numbers yet.
Okay, so Little Tunes, Ballroom and Zumba's a club so far.
Correct.
For the cyclones, I have the 8,000 per year.
They were partner programs still. Phoenix Lacrosse and Cassie Sports both turned into clubs. But
moment. Lacrosse was a club,
they were a club.
okay?
And then, Little League Soccer, Flag Football, AAU were all considered partner programs.
AAU's partner.
Correct.
You said Little League partner program?
The AAU would be like Little Tunes where they don't have any numbers yet.
But since they don't, they could be a club since we didn't have.
I think it needs to be consistent.
Yeah, because we don't have their numbers.
And then they can reevaluate.
Yeah.
Once we have them.
So we just added with 2 hours each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. So we decided 12 more hours. So now we are at 48 hours if we do 2 each.
And we're at 72 if we do 3. I do think we should separate, like Nikki was saying, support groups could be different. The ones that are paying probably don't give any extra time. That'll cut down a lot. Thanks. And what was the third one that you had?
She had recreational, social, and support.
Recreational, I'm guessing would be kind of like the ones that don't make the cut for partner program, right?
Like the AAU, the lacrosse, and
Or is
the
that also like volleyball
Chastity
and
sports.
basketball, like what's the situation with volleyball? I can't remember. How often do they use the space?
They use it 3 times a week.
Yeah, so that's more than 2 hours.
Yeah, they use it Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I think Wednesdays is like 5 to 8. Saturday it's like 9 to 11. I think Sunday is like 1 to 5.
So we're gonna run into this problem with everybody.
Yeah.
That's why we're trying to make it consistent.
If we do so like, what's it called? Is it table tennis or is there something else that you
Yeah,
guys?
They're table tennis, but during this whole process, they told us as of right now, they're no longer utilizing the space, but previously, it's been a while since we've done this. But previously, if you provided a complimentary service, we gave you this space since you weren't charging any residents. So would you like to continue?
So then
to-
that would follow you would fall under that.
Yeah, charging.
They don't charge anything.
So social,
It's all sponsored.
so social,
is?
AAU flag football.
So, all right, other than trying to be consistent, there been issues? Is that why are there
We
people
don't have
fighting
enough
for
dollars
space?
for the residents.
But it's
That's the
happening
issue.
now, they're fighting for,
Yeah.
okay.
It's been a big issue.
Like the pavilion's one of the big ones.
I feel like certain locations
It
get
depends
taken
on the
advantage of, unfortunately.
which pavilion?
The north one.
Who uses that?
Family Fitness uses that, Boy
Dog
Scouts
training.
uses that, dog training uses that.
We try on weekends for private functions.
Uses
Well,
that,
that's the
Bob
coverage.
uses that, make sure you get me
February
down.
4th.
Yeah. I mean,
So why don't they use the other pavilions? Is this like the nice one or something?
It's big and it's lighted and it's got fans. It's a nice pavilion.
If you go to
East
East Lawn
Village, it
one,
doesn't-
no, you gotta
Yeah.
walk, you gotta walk around, just get to the restroom. East North Village, you're there, restroom's there. East, you gotta walk around the pool area.
And then there's one at Heritage Hall, which is.
But that pavilion is attached to the pool, so it's not really like a separate
So-
facility.
Yeah.
so let me bring this in real quick and see if this solves it. 2 hours per club if you are nonprofit. You can ask for additional space 2 weeks out. 2 hours per club if you are for profit, you are charging a registration fee. Just throwing this out there, don't hold me to it. A registration fee, then the 2 weeks does not apply to you.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Then that covers what you said, Nikki.
Right. So so a nonprofit could still charge a registration fee, right?
Well, then we change it to registration fee.
Yeah.
If you're charging a
if you're
registration,
charging any type of fees at all.
you're charging a fee.
Yeah.
Because then table tennis isn't charging a fee. So then they could do the 2 weeks out. AA is not charging a fee. They could do the 2 weeks out. So that gets me under recreational, that gets me under support. What's a social?
Garden club.
Garden
Right.
club, they are not charging a fee, so they could ask for more space 2 weeks out.
But Garden Club
A-
does charge a membership.
Okay, then they wouldn't.
I know
So-
I had to pay to get in.
I know when I went with my father, they, I think it took donations.
Mhm.
Donations are different than a
Yeah.
fee, because the same with like, AAU. And I can speak to that because my daughter's in that. I want that on the record. They go and they waitress at Ale House and take donations to go to their club.
Mhm.
You know, so that there are groups
Donations are
taking
required, so it's
donations.
different.
So I'm totally, I think donation's a donation.
Okay, so it's like voluntary.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a
Not
Man,
really.
$10 per semester donation to participate.
Right. All right, let's say this one more time. Okay. We will continue with a 2-hour free, 2 hours free per month for every club, whether you are indoor or outdoor. However, if you do not charge a fee for your organization to be in the organization, then you would be able to reserve additional hours 2 weeks prior to those dates based on availability. Purpose being so that residents and or partner programs that are paying would have first dibs at it. If you are paying fees, then the 2-hour consideration does not apply to you.
Yes.
You mean 2 weeks?
2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2
Yeah,
weeks.
that's why you're confused. There you go.
I was so close, 2 weeks.
Well, one thing I will say is I imagine for those on support groups, having like consistency could be good. So that's why I would be okay with 4 times a month, 1 per week.
But I think if it comes to that, we have to find another location.
Yeah.
Because again, we are kind of pre-planning for this building to
Not
be
be done.
limited. And so with that, we're kind of giving them advance notice. I mean, chances are they're gonna get it consistently. But when this goes away, we've given them plenty of advance notice to say, here's your alert, you probably want to start looking for another location. And I don't think that can be on town and residents to pay for all of that at all times for every club.
Who, do you two deal with them? You guys communicate with those, the AA and those clubs? The Danny?
Yeah, I communicate also Allison back.
So maybe you guys have to start throwing it out there. You guys have to start looking at
Get a backup.
alternatives.
Right, that's what we kind of started telling them when we had to relocate them out of the North Village meeting room to find another location.
Give them the school, the library, the
But
whatever.
this will also
Church.
help because we have so many people who want to become a partner program with us that could grow a revenue. But we're always stuck with, it's like, oh, that 1 hour of 5:45 to 6:45 is blocked off, but they need it from 3 to 9, So it's like we do lose a good amount of revenue.
Well, and I'll even say that for X Factor, I was trying to hold classes on Thursdays from 4 to 9 solid, and we couldn't because there was 1 hour used for another program.
Where do you have a class?
It was an activity. I'm not on property at all.
No.
Because I had to promise my families a whole year of not being relocated because last year we were relocated all the time. So we currently are in Stetson for paying top dollar rent.
This will come into force, assuming January, I'm guessing.
We proposed it to CROA now, meeting our November date. Do they vote on it December or January?
I'm trying to get this on the agenda for next week's.
So it'll be December that they would vote, come into play, start January.
Well, that actually be voted next week.
They would vote it.
They would
Not the
vote.
20, I think it's like.
But when
29th.
does it, if they vote, yes.
If they
when-
approve, I would like to at least get 30 to 60-day notice out. So
Yes,
that's kind of
yes,
time.
yes.
So, and then do you know when we're getting kicked out of here?
Well, they have that
Two hours
master
ago.
plan advisory group, so we should know soon with this master plan advisory group.
So I guess my suggestion is, and this is, if you guys should have done so, okay. What if, at least for support groups, we only enforce their 2-hour limit once we're kicked out of here?
No, because
They
it gives
can't do
special
that.
consideration. It says you're more
Only a
important than
temporary
them.
time, just for those.
Yeah,
Well,
but it
the
says
odds of them-
temporary, you're more important than them.
But
Yeah.
the odds of them not getting their 2
I
week
think they're
out,
gonna be okay.
I think they're gonna be fine.
I
Yeah, it
really
sounds
don't
like
think
that space is
this place
available.
I understand it's a really important program. My brother is an alcoholic. I see the importance of it. But they need to know, there's other alternatives. You can go to an A meeting here, you can go to one here, you can go to one here, you can go to one here. Not just here.
Right, but it also sounds like the space is available more than
We're gonna
not,
get it.
so.
I think they're
For
gonna
now.
be okay for a bit.
Yeah.
But we're also giving them enough advance warning, which I
Absolutely.
think is really important because we do care about the program.
Absolutely.
So Victoria, as far as I know, part of the requirements for club is they have to provide a roster. How would you like us to go about this so you all can see there's more residents over non-residents or vice versa? We may start seeing if the space is 70% non-residents, we may have to look at an alternative location for them.
You're asking me if I'm in favor of that?
Like trying to figure out how do we ask without asking for the, like, do we just ask for like an address or do you want a staff member to
Oh, 'cause
check?
that's confidential.
Because it's
Correct.
anonymous, yeah. Is that something, who's the contact? Is that something they can keep? They can be the, what's the watchdog essentially of checking who was where? I mean, is that, are they?
And now
supposed to
you're
not
going by
ask?
like the honor system. too.
Yeah.
I think we may have to. Is it permissible to say we cross that bridge when we get there with this building?
Yeah.
Because we also run into, especially with the AA too, if someone's coming in on vacation, they need a meeting.
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
obviously someone. who doesn't-
Yeah, because there is a service that's provided, right? At some point, the town is providing a service for those and
Now we shot what, AA at this point?
we're
Or-
talking about
It's
support.
just-
for
just-
general
Any
Just
support.
that one I gave as an example.
Or,
Can
you know,
we say
perhaps
across
it's
that
a-
bridge at a later date?
We can, yeah. I just wanted to at least.
No, I think that's fair.
Yeah, let them know.
Then
and
when,
say
I
it
think I
needs to
would
go
say when we're
touch
really
the library.
feeling the tight squeeze, then we have a reason to ask. We're not feeling that tight squeeze yet.
I think the problem that we're gonna have on my side would be when this building closes. That's where I think that everything's gonna start to crumble up.
Well,
I mean,
essentially, it'll be like the last time the building was closed, where all clubs were put on pause, partner
Mhm.
programs were condensed. It
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 was
went
mostly
by the
partner
priority.
programs.
But then that makes me feel even better about the 2 hours, because then we can at least offer 2 hours in this town as promised. They've known for a while. And they may have to find some other place. I mean, you did. I
Yeah,
mean,
we all
it
did.
just.
What's the plan to move you guys? Where you?
Correct. I mean, it's
That's-
to be determined.
What are they?
They come to my house.
Yeah.
Big on,
There's
we're trying
plenty
to
of holes
solve
in
for
the-
this big
All right, so we need to
I
officially
feel like-
vote on this. So I'm gonna say it one more time.
Okay.
And we're gonna- Here we go. Every club, regardless of support, social or recreation, will get 2 hours free per month. Should you be a club that does not collect registration fees or any type of fees for its membership registration, then you would be able to get the space reserved 2 weeks in advance without paying a fee. If you do collect registration fees or membership fees, this 2-week policy does not apply to you. May I have a motion?
Did you say additional, time?
She didn't, she just had additional time.
Okay, great.
May I have a motion? Rob, second. John, all those in favor? Aye.
Hallelujah.
Last thing, promise. So as far as the partner programs,
Yeah.
we were talking about the annual financial statements.
Yes.
We talked about, you want that to start, because we do have some contracts that will be on the next meeting that expire December 31st. So do you want us to start, if they are partner programs, to continue as is till 2024, and then this would start in 2025? This
Yeah,
financial
How
statement?
do you,
I would say that it starts in May, because that's what we have on here. Whenever your contract starts after that May, because we will not be we will not be taking any financial statements till May.
Okay, so the
whatever
contracts
it
that
is now
end July
stands.
31st
just extend?
is, so we'll extend them until July 31st.
Or?
Yep, I try to break it up, so contracts, there's like over 16 of them. The 31st of July and then 31st of December, so you're only looking at like 8 or 9 per meeting instead of 16. So we can extend them till the 31st of July, so that way they're all
They'll all
start
submitted
fresh
and-
August
yeah.
1st.
Is there anything that's a red flag on those that would extend?
No, because some of them are gonna be dropped as a club.
Okay. As long as there's not a red flag that you're like, yeah, you put us in a bind here.
It seems that.
Out of town that day. Okay. Okay. So that's that. That gets us through all 7 of our action and discussion items. Great job, team. Upcoming meeting, we will be discussing the Lakeside Tennis Audit. The truth is that will encompass 2 of our clubs that were just added, which is Ladies Open Play and Men's Open Play Tennis. Again, we will have that additional owner comment that is read, and Brent, the gentleman who brought it up as an owner, is aware we'll be discussing that at the December meeting. We are at 6:45. I promised John that if we had time, we would talk solar structures. We have 10 minutes.
Okay. So I attended a few of the Crow board meetings, and from my understanding, they for the management was only able to find 1 bid for the shade structures. When I went to the village talk for South Village, I mentioned a few ideas I had, and the board members said they were appreciative of the extra ideas. So I was hoping to get Crowa's approval to propose a few shade structures to give us other options, I guess, than just what the
And when you
Great.
say propose, that's like company XYZ's proposal?
no, I was gonna find what I could find on myself and present the information.
I'm sorry, for what? Just like, what?
So my understanding is we have 2 different shade structure things we need. We need one for like the pumps for the pools. They keep breaking down because the sun keeps on like killing it. So the shade structure cooling down by probably 10 degrees would make those not go down as fast.
Okay.
And then the other one is a few of the playgrounds that are just heat bake. I know North Village has solar shades. But East Lawn, now that they took away that tree, which I really enjoyed. And I know that it was dying and everything, which is sad. It's basically an oven in the middle to end of the day.
Island Village is like, it's wide open.
So, I mean, having the solar shades and possibly having other options besides 100,000 per, 20 feet, could be something to look at. I did find one option. I know that one of the concerns is a hurricane. You have high winds, and a solar shade's gonna be more likely to be blown away because it's like a sail. It's gonna catch the wind. But one thing I know I'm aware of as an engineer is you can have ones that kind of automatically retract at certain times. So if a storm's coming, you could kind of retract it. And I did attend the technology committee, and Jose mentioned that each of our pool facilities have Wi-Fi now. So they should be able to be controlled by Wi-Fi. If you can do that. So if I have approval, I'd be happy to look into getting some quotes for those as an alternative, at least for the pool deck, and then after that, I could possibly look into the alternative bids for the playgrounds later on.
So what is the procedure? John goes and does this. He comes back to the recreation committee and said, hey, this is gonna cover the pool equipment. I'm gonna go, just tell me if I'm on the right path. I'm gonna go ask these 3 companies to give me bids, and then those bids would go to CROA. Is that how this is done?
So what we're trying to do tonight is to make a recommendation on having shade structures be discussed at this meeting. So I would have to add it to the board agenda for the board to get their blessing on this committee to be tasked at reviewing shade structures.
I see.
And then John would research it if you want to be kind of the liaison for this committee, bring it back to the rec committee. And you
I
would
see.
review maybe the top 3, because the Crow board needs at least
Then
3.
everything I said happens.
Yes,
And then the alternatives, what Grand Manners already has. I think they have one, at least in August, I think was when they had one. I don't know if they brought in more.
So we are proposing that John would be the liaison and that would go on CROA. Hey, is this okay? Type of thing.
correct. And if they're
And
okay,
if they say, yeah, we're fine with recreation digging into this, and then John can come back and report out to us. That's what we're asking for.
yes.
I'm good with that.
Motion to proceed. All in favor?
Aye.
John, thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
May the force be with you.
And with us all.
Go for it.
Sorry.
We're doing good.
It's about
6:50.
clubs real quick. I didn't mean to go backwards. Ladies and men's open play, we classified them as clubs, right?
Uh-huh.
And you know how you said if they don't charge anything, they could call us, but the tennis courts, we don't have a system just yet where you could book the tennis courts. So that club will always be guaranteed to get those hours. So just consider, because December, that's something
Yeah.
we can review.
Well, no, because at specifically the tennis courts, we don't allow you to reserve it.
Correct. So we would have to be
So
strict
this
then.
club would not
They pick
reserve
up.
it. This would be spaces that are reservable, bookable. Just like I can't go book the tennis court for a birthday party. We're talking about bookable space. So am I right?
Why is the tennis court not bookable? I thought there are groups
We
that do.
don't,
I thought
There's
there's
not
groups-
there's not an app in
But I
place
thought
to
there's
do
groups
it.
that do
for
reserve.
partner programs, not for clubs.
And we didn't.
And they're paying significant rental for it.
And just speaking with, when we did the tennis audit, we had a lot of people express concerns to us as it's not fair as a resident, we can't get on the courts. But you also, it's like a pros and cons, but the clubs, it's complimentary, you could just show up, so if you're like single or solo in town, you can at least have someone to play with you guaranteed, you know?
It's just an honor system that you use it for an hour and let the next person go on.
Well,
But
they
that's what's
get
being
blocked.
abused.
Right, of course.
And so I think we said that at a later meeting, we would discuss possible enforcement policies.
Well, and because even their supposed hours were being extended to
Mhm.
where that's what Brent was saying.
Right.
He thought they started at 8 and then all of a sudden they were there at 7:30 and then they were there at 7 and then they were there.
And I can tell you as a foreshadowing, Dory's letter refers to the tennis courts are being used by pickleball clubs that are their past noise ordinance hours, very, very loud. Her letter specifically states this is not the sound of the tapping ball or the bouncing ball. This is rowdy participants. So
Well, can't we
it
say,
has to be bookable space.
and can't pickleball be, is the banned on the tennis court?
It is supposed to be banned. I've never seen anyone play pickleball on the pickleball courts. I don't know what it is.
You have.
I have a couple of times and I kicked them off.
Do,
So,
So
do
they'll
we
go
have
in
hours?
until they can get away with it.
But not at
We do
Georgetown.
have hours, but they're
Not
not.
at
being
Georgetown.
adhered to.
Georgetown,
Do we
obviously.
have
no,
lights
no,
that
no.
Go off.
this is
Lakeside,
downtown.
Lakeside.
We turn the
Yeah.
lights off,
We can adjust the lights, yeah.
so they turn off after the hours are over.
It's, I believe it's 7 AM to 10 PM.
And let's table that for December. But that's a great solution. But to answer your question, it has to be bookable space.
Okay.
And again, if it's creating problems, this committee can say, hey, we didn't do that right. We need to amend it based on the feedback. I have no trouble with anything we've done today, going to Crow and say, we didn't do that one right. And this is the feedback that we got, and therefore we have a recommendation to change. So that's a benefit to the town. Man, if we got it right all the time, we'd be really good. So I think,
Well, and even what might be right for
Yeah.
this year might not
Might
be
not
right
be
for
right.
next year.
Yeah.
Is
Like
there-
that's such a moving target.
Is there an app being worked on for tennis?
As of right now, there is, yeah.
And you can't sign up online either. So the website doesn't have the capability either.
We used to allow folks to sign up through Rec Pro, like our current software system, so you could sign up whenever, but that was when we did COVID guidelines in the gyms. So we'd only allow 5 people in at a time. However, we would get phone calls that, oh, there's 6 people in the gym, come down here. So every hour we would have a staff member stand out there and say, are you so-and-so, you know?
and the audit will tell us, but I think the majority of the issues are the mornings. Because my son has been on his bike a lot lately, I'm going to play tennis. And I'm like, hey,
Good luck.
nothing's there, come home. And he gets in. And he is not approached, that someone else is waiting for him. And, this is
It's
Friday,
everybody
Saturday
says
night, that
it's
type
the
of
morning
thing.
hours.
It's the morning hours, so. I am gonna open it up with the last 5 minutes for member comment. Anything anyone wants to discuss? Allison, you doing good back there?
Great.
Okay, just checking on you.
Just great.
Yes.
I'm not necessarily a member over there, but the basketball could be an issue since now we're down to one court because the school took away all the basketball courts there from us. So I don't know if we should even allow anybody to have a basketball group right now.
I think that would need to be brought up in owner comments. Once it's an issue within the town, then we could have, kind of like what we're doing with tennis. Once a resident came and said, this is the problem that we're having, then we started the audits and then we started digging into that. So I think,
Well, great thing though, actually, is we did give them a certain amount of time, I believe 6 months as a test trial.
Oh, yeah,
And so
that's
December,
isn't it?
is a month that we could bring it up on the
it is
agenda.
in 6 months. Well, there you go. It's our 6 month.
There you
It's
I
our
think,
6 month
to be honest, I think it extended a little bit, but
Gotcha.
I thought it was 4 months. That we did. I think it started in July.
Time has no meaning. I can't even tell you. what
I just
2
know
months
that
ago.
they do need to get
So that needs
reviewed.
to be reviewed.
Yeah.
So that's a good time to review.
Please add that to the meeting topics for December. Any other meeting topics?
I won't be here.
I'm good.
Have a great time.
I'll just mention I probably won't be here in December because my wife about to give birth.
Because there's an.
A girl. So 3 girls.
Wow.
But everyone has happy holidays. Don't see you all.
Yeah.
All right, I would like to have a motion for this meeting to adjourn. All right, all those in favor?
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving. You too.
Yeah, the other one.
Good work, everybody.